Team USA has flat out dominated so far this tournament. Perfect 4-0 through the prelim round.
Nice move to the net there, and it's tucked home. Good chance in front for Mazur, and he scores!
I'm open, and Sam Iskevich hits it beautifully.
Oh, another shot and another goal!
The mentality's terrific. Get on your inside foot, just let it ride.
And Team USA with their third straight win.
Gets it to Coronado, and he rips it over the glove. Matt Coronado with his second of the game.
But in the end, the Americans hold on, and they complete the preliminary round with 4 regulation wins. Quarterfinal Wednesday at the 46th World Junior Championships continues. One more to play. Team USA headed on to the ice to take on Team Czechia. The Finns, the Swedes, the Canadians have already punched their ticket to the semifinal. Now Team USA hopes to do the same, and as you can see there, standing in their way, Team Czechia. Welcome in, everybody. EJ Raddick along with Dave Starman for the final quarterfinal of this great Wednesday of hockey. Team USA taking on Team Czechia, Dave, and wow, this has been a great day. It's a great opportunity for the Americans. Looking at the Czechs, they got a pretty big group. How do they deal with them?
I think they deal with them the same way they dealt with the Germans. I think they deal with them the same way they dealt with the Swedes, and that is you make them go 200 feet at all times. Now, the one thing that the Czechs do bring is a lot of size, and they've got some speed to them. But I think for the U.S., with the way that they play the game, they've got a lot of tenacity, they've played a lot of deep game, and they've made teams have to go through them. With the way they've defended, it's not been easy for opposition teams to do.
A lot of college experience with Team USA. This is a one-and-done scenario. You lose, you go home. Does that help? Because they've had that college mentality.
Hardest game to win in the NCAA tournament is as the favorite in the 1-4 or the 2-3 game in the regionals. Now, most of these players have been in the 1 or the 2 slot because they've been on really good teams in the tournament, but they've all been through that one and done, and a lot of them playing in the program with the international playing have been through the one and dones in the World Championship. So I do think between the coaching staff and the players, they are built and understand the dynamic of how to play a one-and-done shift by shift.
Let's talk about the face-off machine that is Thomas Bordeleau, because against the Swedes in the final preliminary round game, he took 63 face-offs. He won 31 of them, and he's unique because he'll flip his stick and he'll take it lefty or righty. You can see there a left-hand stick, he was doing it right-handed. He's so valuable.
And people ask why. Remember, in the IIHF, you can't use your feet to take a face-off. It's got to be stick on stick, and the battle has to be with your sticks before you can turn your body into another player to try for a secondary style win. So Bordeleau is the best switch-hitting centerman in hockey. We know that. And he has been that kind of resource for them when he turns it over. What that does for Team USA, you can continue to leave the same guy out there every time you ice the puck because you can't make a change. Yeah. But they know no matter what side they go to or whatever side the opposition picks, because they get to pick on an icing what side they want to take that offensive draw. Bordeleau can win it on both sides.
You have mentioned earlier that the fact that the Americans have done a good job winning their battles. That will be important again today. You know the Czechs are going to be a little ticked off after losing to Latvia. Battles will be where this game is probably won and lost.
What's interesting is the Czechs like to play behind the net in the offensive zone. How well they play behind their own net is going to be a big deal. Remember when the U.S. called out the Swedes, they don't want to play in the dirty areas? What the U.S. do? A lot of this. They won a ton of battles below the goal line. They won a ton of battles below the faceoff dots. In puck battles in that game, the U.S. won 58% of the puck battles against the Swedes, and a lot of those puck battles were down low. So I think, once again, that becomes a major theme. Put it in, get it, pin them in, 200 feet, wear out the defense, and make them really earn every inch that they have to. I think for the U.S., that's been a really good part of their identity.
Yeah, Nate Lehman mentioned that to me going back to the evaluation camp. He said that, it's the summer where the guys, the kids on all the countries are not used to defending hard. This is, let's make the other teams defend hard. They've done that so far. We'll see if they can do it again tonight. We're getting ready for puck drop up in Edmonton. It's been a long day there. There is Caden Imberico. He's getting ready for this one, the goaltender for Team USA. The Americans and Czechia coming up next. Puck drop. Teams are getting ready to get started. Team USA, Team Czechia. Thank you so much for taking the time on this Wednesday evening to join us for this one. Should be a great game. Quarterfinal matchup, Team USA and Team Czechia, the winner on to the semifinal. Team USA, if they win, they will have a rematch with Team Sweden. You can see the Americans getting ready on the bench, surround their goaltender, Caden Mberico, who has been terrific for this team through the first 4 games. He played in 3 of them. Here are referees for tonight. The referees Stephen Hiff from Canada, Christopher Holm from Sweden, Brad Mackey and Sean Oliver, both from Canada, are your linesmen. In the net, a little bit of a surprise, it'll be Tomas Suchanek in goal for Team Canada. He played in 2 games in this tournament. He was terrific in a losing effort against Canada, 52 saves on 57 shots. And at the other end, as I mentioned, Caden Mberico, perfect 3-0, 938 save percentage. He has really taken full advantage of this opportunity. Behind the bench for Team Czechia, Radim Rulik, and he will be looking over his troops as Nate Lehman does for Team USA, of course, the coach at Providence College. We're getting seconds away here from puck drop. Let's send it down to ice level and let the refs start it off for us.
You guys, watch the creep in here. Watch the creep in. All right, boys, let's have some fun here. Let's have some fun. Both down.
So Stephen Hiff drops the puck, and we are underway. Team USA and Team Czechia, and the Americans get right in on the forecheck, Dave, and they would love nothing more than a good fast start in this one.
Battle of attrition. Big the Czechs earn every puck touch. Low to high plays for the U.S. and allow them to go to work and get some shots through early.
Hughes' shot is deflected. The stick gets broken, and Czechs come the other way. David Juracek, first-round draft pick of the Columbus Blue Jackets, 6th overall at the 22 draft. You'll be hearing his name a lot tonight and in the future.
A couple of things to keep an eye on. Number one is, as you take a look at the Czech lines, and they are good down the middle, and they are really good on that left side. Bisak has been terrific through this tournament. A lot of skill, a lot of speed, a lot of creativity. The U.S. in this game, this building is not very full, and in a lot of times in semifinal games, especially in Canada, the building's crowded. They're all rooting against the U.S., and the U.S. is fed off of that energy. In a quieter building, I'm intrigued to see, as this game goes on and takes on its identity, what the lack of crowd does in terms of the U.S. energy and that anti-U.S. sentiment that always is pertinent in Canada.
The puck goes behind the net. Svozil throws it ahead. Czechs look to come out. That was Gut. They lose the puck, and Matthew Nyes in a battle on the wall. Nyes was terrific in the game against Sweden. I think it was by far his best game of the 4.
You know, he was really physically engaged. He finished a lot of hits, was really good in the trenches. Like he played a hard area game. He played a game that analytics love, but the stat sheet might not have, type of thing. And to me, that was a really effective game by doing little things versus big things for Nyes.
Berard tries to throw it in. Coming in hard, Dominic James right off the bench. Gets it back to Berard, to the middle. Samoskevich across, a chance in front, but James can't tuck it home. James now back up high. Peart through traffic, knocked down in front.
I think James is due in this game. He's been building, and I think this is the game where James becomes more of a factor than he has been.
Here's Berard coming out from behind the net. Stopped by Suchanek. And cleared all the way down. I agree with you about James, and he has got great speed, Dave, and in a game like this against a bigger team that you want to push with speed, he might be a difference maker.
Absolutely. U.S. key early. Win battles, win races, create chances, get pucks to the front of the net, just get things moving around. And Samoskevich with a nice play. And look at James. James getting himself into the grease pan area. The U.S. in this tournament has scored the majority of their goals. I think it's 16 of 22 from between the dots and under the circle. So they've played hard in the hard areas, and that's what James's game is built for.
Mazur shooting through traffic, gets knocked down. Bordalo won that draw. We talked about him previously, as we got ready for this one, he's been dynamic on faceoffs. Here's a chance towards the net, but Sohanik is able to grab it, and we'll get another faceoff. But keep an eye on Bordeleau. You pointed it out in the pregame. He's such a terrific faceoff man.
Hey, not only that, he's also terrific in other areas of the ice. Here's the quick chance by James. If James is a left shot, not a right, he probably scores there as that puck was in his skates. And the two of those guys understand that they created a pretty good play. Another key thing here, EJ, is going to be face-offs. The U.S. has been real good on the draws. We've talked about that. In the offensive zone, their secondary wins have been pretty good. So if they scramble up front, they've been really good at recollecting pucks after a scramble.
Cooley now in the corner, off his stick. Picked up by Juracek. And the Czechs will clear it out to center. There's Coronado pulling up. He had a pair in the win over Sweden. Chance from up high, knocked down in front by Sohanik. Czechia will just fire it down.
The biggest challenge for the Czechs when they get pucks in their own end is how quickly they can get out of it. They've got great size and they've got skill. You and I have talked about it through the tournament. They're not overly quick. You know, it's kind of like a battleship starting versus a speedboat. I mean, once they get going, they're going. And with that big heaviness, they can create some havoc in the offensive zone, and especially on the half walls, but they don't come flying out of their own end. And to me, that plays a lot into the U.S. strengths, because I think in watching a lot of these teams, the best back-checking team and the best track-back team in the tournament has been the U.S. So you get a really good defensive team versus a team that can't get out of its own end with a lot of blazing speed. That's a recipe you like for getting pucks back.
Americans win that draw. Truscott throws it down the wall around. Kaiser coming down the left wing side. Czechs are able to chip it out. We get a foot race. Kaiser's able to win it. Riley Duran. And finally kicked ahead there by Hunter McCown. Kaiser chases back. McCown gets it, chips it in. Riley Duran in on the forecheck. Americans trying to get that heavy forecheck going again. McCown behind the net. Hammered into the boards there by Ali's check. And Czechia starts out. Chasing the puck down the wing, shot caught and then dropped by Mberico. But no harm there as Team USA starts it the other way. James tries to get in. He's held up there.
Oh, EJ, it's a good save by Mberico. It's his first real good puck touch of the game and squared up nicely. Didn't default into the RVH. And careful rebound.
Clevin down the wall. Back up high. Samoskevich to the net. Fires wide. Nate Lehman talking about Samoskevich. Thought he played well, really well in the Sweden game. And I agree. I thought it was his best game.
I will tell you this. I've watched Mackie Samoskevich play about 40 games in his career. I don't think I've seen him play poorly. He's just not wired that way. Just the way his game is, he's at the very least going to be good. A lot of nights he's great. Very rarely is he average.
Yeah, he was buzzing in that game versus the Swedes without question. Now Czechia comes up 2-on-2, but that one's going to go offside. We get a whistle. So how do you like the start, Dave, for Team USA? We're 5 minutes in. What do you think?
I think it's been quiet and it's been workmanlike. So again, they've established their net back game. They've established their ability to win 50-50s. They've put a little bit of a heavy pounding on the big Czech defense, and I think it's important. Like, they're a coach that'll say, you know, don't poke the bear, don't wake them up. But I think in this case for the U.S., they have sent a message to the Czechs that if you don't keep your head over your shoulder, you keep your eyes over your shoulder all night, you're going to continue to get buried back there. And for the U.S., I think that's been a key component in establishing that.
Bordeleau at center, turns it over, and Kos will throw it in for Czechia. Luke Hughes puts it up the wall to Slager, kept in by Nemitz. There's a quick chance to the net, stopped by Mberico. Mberico with a really nice stop there.
And again, no rebound.
Turnover again. And Mberico will do something I like. When your team is struggling a little defensively on a shift, grab that puck and hold on to it.
It's almost like this default goes off in your mind, like, okay, we've had enough of this, and we'll do it. And when a goalie's got a good pulse of when a shift is getting away from you, I think that's a good thing. The biggest difference between Mbereko and the young Czech goaltender is Mbereko can handle the puck fairly well. I wouldn't say he's great at it, but he's good enough at it that the Czechs are going to have to be careful on their dump-ins to make sure that they keep pucks away from him, because if he gets a touch on it, he breaks the rhythm of what the Czechs want to do when they throw pucks in. The other way around, I don't think it's as simple and safe, and I think the U.S. will have a little more success getting pucks in like that.
Here comes a chance for Team USA. Pastujov tries to get it ahead, but Czechia takes control and fires it in.
See, another puck touch there. Mbereko is really good at getting out there. It's natural for him, and he's as good on his backhand as he is on his forehand in terms of getting those hard rims settled down for his defensemen, and those handoffs have been much better through the last 2 games.
There's another one that he's going to glove right there. Teams getting acquainted a bit in the crease. In the early going, no score. USA, Czechia. Time to talk about the Hockey Intelligim. The Hockey Intelligim helps improve hockey sense for players, coaches, and officials. Visit usahockeyintelligim.com today to learn how at-home cognitive training can help improve your hockey sense and complement your on-ice sessions. Team USA winning another draw, this one in the D zone. Look to make a stretch pass ahead all the way down. And Suhanik will play it, and now he will hold on. And
you see my point about Suhanik not playing the puck as much as Mbereko does. You see the difference? So pucks come to Mbereko, and he'll hold it when he wants to, but for the most part, he'll try to move it, keep play moving, see if he can catch the Czechs flat-footed and get up ice quick. Here's Suhanik. He's got a chance to move the puck. Does he? No, because he's not as confident in it as his counterpart is. So what does the U.S. get out of it? They get an offensive zone draw. The last thing you want to give the U.S. is a ton of offensive zone draws with how good they have been on the dot and how many chances that they have gotten from wins off of those face-offs.
Good hustle by Coronado there, and we'll get another face-off win shot to the net.
And on
down.
Right on cue.
Yeah.
See what I'm talking about? Now, that wasn't a dangerous scenario, but you can't go to the well too many times. And I just do think that is a factor in tonight's game of how many times that the Czechs are going to hold on to pucks. Suhanik's going to hold on to pucks, and how many offensive zone chances the U.S. gets off of one draws.
And you saw the face mask there. Suhanik had Carey Price's picture on there. Suhanik played at Tri-City with the Tri-City Americans in the Western League. 42 games this year, 901 save percentage. So paying homage to a former Tri-City star. Meanwhile, right in your living room there, you get a little close-up of the corner battle. Czechia now gets to come the other way. It looked like Mishek was offside there, but no whistle, and now Mbereko holds on. We'll get another face-off.
When I was scouting for the Canadians, I was at my first scouting meeting, and we're talking about the different positions and how we rate them and grade them and comparisons and improvements and that kind of thing. So we go through the forwards, we go through the defense, then we get to the goaltenders, and I think it was Von Karpin who at the time was running that department. He's now with Vegas, and he says, okay, and in goal, we have Carey Price. He goes, well, really, that's enough said. That was it, done. That was the goalie meeting.
Yeah. And Suhanik has also the image of Olaf Kolzig on the other side. So another standout in the Western League. So
I was with Ole in Baltimore. What a great human being. What a great goalie he was, and great success story, having worked his way through the American League. And he apprenticed there for a good long time, and it worked.
Faber tries to get one on goal. Knocked down before it got there. Puck comes back left point. Hughes throws it down low. Mazer tries to take it strong to the net, but it kicks back into the neutral zone for Hughes, and he'll fire in.
By the way, our goaltending tandem that year in Baltimore is Byron Defoe and Olsey Kolzig. A pair of good trophy winners. Yeah, that was pretty good. And the coach was Barry Trotz.
Here's a chance for Czechia now. Good defensive play by Hughes. There was another chance in front. Faber gets a stick on that one, and Orban had a chance, number 20, and it was deflected up high. So Menchik and Orban coming down on a 2-on-1, essentially, and really nice opportunity.
The Czechs come on the attack with a lot of structure in their attack. It's not fancy, but it's efficient. And then they get a second kick at it, and it's just a good quick shot. Berico watches that one sail up over his right shoulder and off the post, and then they're able to kick it back out high. The Czech defense, once they establish offensive zone, the Czech defense has been pretty good at their dive downs, and they've been sealing at walls pretty well. It's given them a lot of secondary opportunities.
Run goes back in the zone. Coast, number 15 for Czechia. He misses on that pass. That's going to go all the way down. And there is the whistle and another icing. Been a choppy start, Dave. There's been a lot of whistles so far for the first 8 or 9 minutes. Do you get the sense that maybe it's a long day and the guys have to just find their way into the game? Remember, this is the last game played today.
Oh, that's a great chance by the Czechs. These 8:30 games are an absolute nightmare because you get out of your routine a little bit, but so you've got to change your routine. You try to stay within the same rhythm in terms of hours, countdown to puck drop type of thing, but morning skates get altered, meal time, nap time, I mean, it all gets changed a little bit. But here's the problem. You got to fight through it. The Czechs are dealing with the same thing, but a late game could definitely facilitate a slower start.
That one off the glass all the way down.
And the natural tendency is just sit there and you just think about it all day.
Yeah.
You got to do everything you can to not.
Nate Lehman talked about this today. Like, we don't want the guys mentally having too much of a grind. A good chance by Samoskevich to just play the game over and over in their heads.
Right.
And be mentally worn out. Another shot goes wide.
By the way, U.S. is also getting out of their own zone a lot cleaner than the Czechs are. They've had 2 really good breakouts where it's been a little chip from the D behind to the center coming low, who's above the puck and out quick for the U.S. Their breakout game throughout this tournament, I think, has been a huge strength. It's not a sexy component of your game, but it's important. They've come out connected, they've come out in support, and they've come out filling 3 lanes.
It's an essential part of your game, and here comes Czechia again. Great opportunity to the net, and fired just up over. I don't know if that caught Mberico or the pipe, but a great chance for Ivan. And let's take another look here. This is Samoskevich coming down the middle, Dave.
Head up, eyes up. The whole key to being a good forward, boy, you got to be good with your hands to get into a high danger spot like that and get through it. But the whole key is really good forwards will do. They have their mind made up and the gap read as they cross the red line. So they know once they hit the blue line, they've already read spacing and they know exactly where they want to take the puck. With Samoskevich's speed, he buys himself some extra space.
Nishak, the captain, threw it back to the point. Fired in wide. Battling along the wall. Keep an eye on Nishak. He's the captain. Montreal Canadiens draft pick, 2nd rounder. Nemitz through traffic, stopped by Mberico. Hughes on it. Clears it to center.
Much like the Germans and the Swiss, the Czechs are excellent at establishing a double screen, layered screens in front of the net. U.S. defense has been very good at not letting that happen so far.
There's a chance and a rebound. Red Savage almost buried that rebound. And Sahanek was able to avoid that secondary problem. Kulich, 25 in red. 1st round pick of the Buffalo Sabres this past July. Mberico. Kaiser, and he reverses it around to Truscott.
Well, if you're a draft pick of the Sabres, a young one.
Here's a chance for Slaggert. He tries to get to the net, rebound. And boy, what a chance there for Carter Mazur. He was almost able to bury that one. Suhanek reacted quickly, and I think that saved him, Dave.
Absolutely, great reaction.
Slaggert busting towards the net. And Mazur had that second chance, but just couldn't cash in. Probably the best scoring chance for Team USA so far.
For sure.
Levitt tries to slip it through. Couldn't get it to Bordeleau. Mazur behind the net. Kamara.
3rd straight rush, by the way, where the U.S. is coming down the wall, and instead of going down the wall straight, they cut to the middle to allow support to get in. What basically they've done is when the puck carrier's gotten out in front of it, they've slowed down to allow numbers to get into it. So they've evened up what was an anti-odd man rush.
Nyes with a pass over to Cooley, who fires, tried to go high. couldn't find the hole. There's a shot wide of the net from the point, and it comes back out.
I should really call that a negative man rush. Anti-odd man rush sounds a little bizarre, doesn't it?
A little bit.
It's 10:30 at night here in the East.
Anything's possible. We get past 11. Here's a chance. In front, the rebound knocked home. A mishandle by the Czechs. And the Americans are able to finish. And it looks like it's Logan Cooley on the spot to put it home.
All tournament long, Nate Lehman has wanted to make sure that this line was established and going. It took him a couple of games, and off the mishandle, they get opening goal of the game for the U.S. And as this thing comes around the wall, it hits a little bit of a clink in the kick plate, and the U.S. quick to take advantage. Cooley was going to the net with his stick down off the far post like he should be anyway. When you do the right things, an opportunity presents itself. Sometimes you put luck on your side more so than anything. But the number one point is that that line, which was quiet a little bit early in the tournament, game by game, has gotten better and better.
Second goal of the tournament for Logan Cooley. Third overall pick selected by the Coyotes. There's a chance through traffic. Nice stop by Mberico there with the pad.
This is a huge test for the Czechs right now. These kinds of one-and-done games, momentum swings and bad breaks happen. The reaction is important.
Hughes tries to keep in, but Juracek is there to start it the other way. Good back check there by Berard. Team USA looks to get out of their zone, and they do with speed. Luke Hughes to center, cuts back to the middle. Hughes drops it, quick shot by James, and Sahonic will hold on, and now we get Spacek and Berard in front of the net. So they will separate. There's Logan Cooley. He's got the goal. Team USA in front. Fans, you can get all your official Team USA and USA Hockey apparel at shopusa.com. Jerseys, hoodies, t-shirts, novelties, and more are all available right now by visiting shopusahockey.com. So check it out. I love the jerseys tonight, the white jersey, reminiscent of that 1960 Squaw Valley gold medal Olympic win for Team USA. There was another face-off win by Bordelot.
That one he took normally.
Well, he's in the strong side.
I was going to say, best switch-hitting centerman in international hockey.
Here's Luke Hughes. Attacking the blue line. Looking through traffic. Using his length there. Flips it off the side of the net. Really using his reach to try to make something happen. They go low to high. Slaggert covering at the left point. His shot is deflected. And Czechia will come out. Just another errant pass there from Czechia. You talked about it, Dave. The breakouts have not been clean, and part of that is the speed of Team USA, and part of it is just maybe nerves because they've missed on some easy passes.
They certainly have. I mean, the U.S. can make you miss because of how well they forecheck, the angles that they take, steering that they do with their sticks. But I mean, the Czechs have been like a dull butter knife so far. There's been not a lot to their game. They had a couple of good opportunities in the offensive zone, but getting up ice for them has been a bit of a challenge. And that plays into the U.S. strength, right? What are we talking about? For the U.S., length in the rink. Make your team go, your opponent go 200 feet through your layers.
Coes now for Czechia, spinning. Fighting off Riley Duran. Jacob Truscott in the battle now. And there's Wyatt Kaiser, and the Americans break out. McCowan throws it down the wall. Savage on the hunt. Cowan. Up high. Just a little too far, and Moore couldn't handle it, so he'll just shoot it back in. The Americans will get back outside.
They liked McCown's last game. We've talked about him earlier in the tournament. He's an undrafted free agent out of Colorado College, who I think is going to wind up with a pro deal when his college career is over. But he has been good in small ways, eating minutes and creating positive puck touches.
And also getting some ice time on that second power play unit as well. And he came in with a nice forechecking shift there. Tornado there, forcing the pass. Czechia comes out a little cleaner this time. There comes Ivani. That's a stick knocked out of his hand. Looks at the ref, but we play on. Clevin to center. He chases it down. Tyler Clevin, the big defenseman, in the corner. Loses the puck, and Czechia comes the other way. Kulich with a shot. Stopped by Emberico. Good shot there. Here's Juracek looking through traffic. Doesn't get it through. Juracek in deep, but now it comes out, and Nyes comes away with it. Flips it in. He'll go for a change. Cooley will go for the puck. In a battle with Tahacek. Here comes Kulich again the other way. Yuri Kulich into the middle. Blind pass there from Mishak. Nobody home. Brock Faber now on the rush. Faber leaves it off. Goes to the net. A quick chance, and he just misses the far post. Great chance there by Faber.
It looked like Jared Spurgeon on that rush. Right? Jump right in and go.
Maybe a future teammate in Minnesota. Brock Faber.
Is that nice I set that up for you?
There you go. I love it. I love it. Playing at the University of Minnesota now, and his rights now belong to the Minnesota Wild via a trade with the LA Kings. Kevin Fiala going the other way in that deal to the Kings.
Well, the Kings have kind of cornered the market on St. Cloud State Huskies, so it's that other Minnesota team.
Here's a shot through traffic wide of the net. Czechs keep it in. David Czech gets it across. Here's a look and a shot. Fired wide from the left point.
Best piece of offensive sustained pressure by the Czechs, and a lot of it was because they kept their feet moving. That was a really, really good energy shift of little things. Good sticks, good races, good feet, getting into people. That's an important shift for them. They need things like that to build on for the second period.
And that's what Nate Lehman talked about with his team. Keep our feet moving. And good advice for any hockey player at any level.
Hey, absolutely. It's a hard game to play when you're standing still, but you can be incredibly effective when things like that are happening. When you get into people, when you get on people's hands, when you finish up your checks, you make people rush, and when your feet are going and you limit the ability for a puck carrier to think about what they want to do, you get a good chance of creating some turnovers.
All right, Czechia on the move. Sapovalek, number 24. Big forward for Team Czechia. Here's a shot through traffic, deflects, and it eludes Emberico in the net. We got a tie game.
This entire shift and the shift before it predicated on the fact that the Czechs were above the puck. Simple as that. Everywhere they went, they were above puck, and that's why they were winning their races. They won some races, they won some battles. Watch here. Above the puck. Create a turnover. Now you get it down low. What happens here? Point guy seals up the wall, throws it in front of the net. There's that double screen that we talked about. You get a floating puck. You got a big tip from the Czech forward up in the high slot. But it's all because of the fact that they did the right things to lead up to that goal by winning races, being above pucks. And once they got possession, they played to their identity, which is low to high and a double screen.
So it's the captain, Jan Mishak, who gets the goal. Nice deflection in front. So we are tied, and little news to pass along. And it's not great news right now for Team USA. Luke Hughes not on the bench for Team USA, so we'll keep an eye on that as we move forward. Under 2 minutes left in the first period.
The U.S. hope it's an equipment issue, right?
Well, let's hope so. Kaiser was out there with Faber. Faber is usually with Hughes, so the partners get scrambled a little bit. For Mishak, that's his fourth of the tournament. And he's been the emotional leader for Czechia, no doubt. Prescott through traffic, sticked aside by Suhanik. Puck just skips out past Ian Moore. He throws it back in. Long cross-ice pass. Americans pick it up. Cooley down the wall. Coolidge is on him. Here's a shot by Clement. Blocked. You can hear the Czech players on the bench rattling those sticks, approving of that shot block. Komar threw it all the way around, kept it. And then Czech starts it the other way, David Czech. Across. There's a chance for Kulic, stopped by Mberico. Czech's probably feeling a little bit of momentum here in the final minute after getting the tying goal. Then some odd bounces in this first period.
U.S. has had a good period and got a goal. The Czechs have had a really average period and got a goal.
Another shot from the point fired wide, under 10 seconds left. But blocked there by Nyes. In the dying seconds here of period number 1, and that will do it. So the Americans with the shot advantage 16-10, but on the scoreboard we are tied at 1. Misak with the goal to tie it. Stay with us. In between periods, intermission report with Billy Pito and Mike Rupp.
Welcome everyone. After the first period, quarterfinal for Team USA, knotted up against Czechia 1-1. Great to have you with us in our NHL Network studios. Bill Pito along with Mike Rupp. We're listening to E.J. Raddick and Dave Starman call the game here on NHL Network, and Dave had the point. Really good period for Team USA, 1 goal. Average period for Team Czechia, 1 goal. So 1-1. Team USA's gotten better of the play. Should they be concerned at all that they're not leading on the scoreboard?
You'd like to say no, because they've controlled play a lot, like you mentioned, Billy. Their forecheck was relentless. They made it very difficult for Czechia to get out of their zone clean. But at the end of the day, it's 1-1, and we also had Czechia had rang one off the post. So these are the things that kind of make hockey unfair at sometimes. You got to find ways to push through it. I think if Team USA keeps pushing the pace and keeps getting in there on the forecheck, they're going to find more offense, and they should be okay.
Team USA has not trailed at all this entire tournament, 1-1 after 1. Let's take a look at some of the highlights here. Caden Mberico in net for Team USA, as has been the case throughout much of this tournament, most of this tournament, and he came up big here.
Yeah, you see just coming down here, just the Czechs did a great job of just chipping the puck wide, just kind of creating something out of nothing, and just got a few opportunities. I mean, this was the best flurry of opportunities that Czechia had in that first period. And Mberico was solid. He did his job here. He stayed square to pucks. He wasn't sliding outside his posts. And there's a good stick on puck around the net from the defenders. But there's the one right there by Orban that goes off the post. So that could have made it 1-0 early.
Landon Slaggert, Team USA, has 2 goals, 3 assists coming into this game. Had a great chance, as did Carter Mazur there.
Yeah, look at it. You want to see some chaos right here? Anytime a goaltender leaves the crease like that and comes out, just create a little bit of chaos for Team USA. And this is just a crazy bounce here. I mean, we're going to see the replay on it. It goes off the wall. Nothing really that the Czechs can do on this one. It ends up in the back of their net.
Logan Cooley, the goal, 3rd overall pick in the last draft for Arizona. Really top-notch prospect, and that line of Coronado, Nyes, and Cooley is rolling. So Team USA up 1-0 as you take a look at this. But after they're up by the count of 1-0, Czechia is able to knot the game with about 2 minutes left in the period.
Yeah, so you get that bounce there. You can say Team USA earned that bounce, if you will, because they were forechecking, like I said, pretty severely. And then you get it back the other way. And it's about bounces, the game, sometimes. And you see the Team Czech, they end up right here. You watch this to redirect. I mean, this thing changes directions a couple times. Not much Mberico can do on this one. So there you go. There's the life that you need for Czechia, and they got it, and they did their own forechecking on this one, just kind of closing off some space, and then just getting bodies in that. The shot's going to go through. It looks like it gets 2 deflections and goes in, as you can see right here. Goes down, bounces off the ice, comes upstairs. There it is, 1-1.
Jan Mysak, the goal there for Czechia. He's the Canadian second-round pick back in 2020. That knotted the game at 1, and that's where we are, 1-1 after 1 period of play. Now, potential injury concern here, Mike, for Team USA. The talented defenseman Luke Hughes, high Devils draft pick, 4th overall, in fact, in the entire draft of the Devils in 2021. Knee to knee there in the first period and has not come back into the game.
Yeah, there's an obvious concern there. I mean, he's been their best defenseman in this tournament, and he's a big piece for this team. So you can see just something kind of crazy here. He's just kind of coming in. Looks like he just, I don't even know if it doesn't even look like it's necessarily knee on knee. It looks like he kind of tweaks his toe and maybe just goes the wrong way. Something just seemed to be tweaked there. You see him on the bench. He left it, not returned, so we'll be monitoring that as this game goes on.
So far in this tournament, Hughes has 1 goal and 5 assists, went down the tunnel and has not come back. We'll update you and EJ and Dave Starman on the game call. Hopefully we'll have an update when they come back with you for the second period. We'll continue after one period. 1-1, Team USA and Team Czechia. The winner will take on Sweden in the semifinals on Friday. We're back with more after this. Bill Pito and Mike Rupp continue from the studio after one period of play between Team USA and Czechia. 1-1 after one. You see the stats. United States out shooting the opposition 16-10. Logan Cooley scored for Team USA. Jan Mysak for Czechia. After the first period, our John Rosen talked to Team USA GM John Van Beesbroek.
John, thanks so much. When you're putting this team together with Nate Lehman, there's no Matty Beniers, there's going to be no Jake Sanderson, but what were you looking to build in this team, and how have you thought they've fared so well throughout this tournament?
We've had a good tournament so far. We've been excited about our group. You know, as far as building the team in the summer, we knew we'd have a good defense core, and you know, you never knew what was going to happen with Matty signing and with some of the other players. I mean, it's the summertime, so you take what you can get, but we had a good camp. I think we got a real good team.
And when you're putting this team together and having the discussions over the summer with Nate, are you really trying to instill the program, or I should say, find guys that can fit systems, or are you trying to take advantage and use the skill sets that you have at your disposal?
Well, Nate has a standard that he's put into effect, a gold medal standard, and I think that, you know, we looked at players that way, but we also look at getting the best available players, knowing their characteristics. But I think that we're playing to our identity. We play a fast game. We hunt pucks. So I think we have the right dynamic.
And a terrific culture. I mean, you look at the last decade, since 2010, 4 gold medals right now. What is it that this USA team was able to build over this past decade in becoming such a force in international junior hockey?
Well, I think we're trying to play to an identity. Each one of our teams wants to play fast, get after pucks, not sit back, and be good defenders. And but I think the biggest identity is trying to stay out of the penalty box, not get caught up in all the emotion of the tournament and trying to play, you know, too tough. But we want to be tough on the puck. We want to be diligent, determined, and relentless.
And one last question. This is a very big game here that this team is in tonight, but also 4 months away from the next tournament. When you're putting this team together with Rand Pecknold for the December tournament, again, can you give us a sense of where you're at and what process you're at right now in evaluating these players?
Well, it's a constant evaluation. I think that, you know, we look to have 8 returners, possibly 10 to the team. You never know what you have in the way of injuries, and we have a college season to look forward to, a major junior season, and you know, I think we have to take it one day at a time. But right now we're in a tough game. We knew that we were going to be in one, and you know, with the late start, it brings on those anxious moments.
Really appreciate the time, John. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, John Rosen with Team USA GM and former NHL goalie John Van Beesbroek. And indeed, the future. They're not worried about the future. They're worried about tonight. What does Team USA now need to focus on in period number 2?
Well, we heard Beezer say right there, their bread and butter for Team USA is their speed. And they were very good, and that was prevalent in the first period. The only times they got themselves in trouble, and if there's one stat that stood out for me that's a bit of a concern for Team USA, is that Czechia had 10 shots on goal. That's a lot. You wouldn't think that they would be able to get 10 in period 1. The way they got those is the USA defensemen were a little aggressive in the neutral zone, stepping up on plays, trying to kill it. And Team Czechia did a great job chipping the puck by, getting some support, and going in there and getting some sustained pressure. So I would say, if I'm Nate Lehman, only stand up if you've got that support, that back-checking forward. Otherwise, they haven't gotten anything. Don't give them free passes in the second period.
All right, we'll see what the status is of Luke Hughes. As we showed, he left the first period with some type of lower body injury. EJ Raddick, Dave Starman have the call for you. The second period is up next, and Mike and I will see you after period number 2 as we continue here on NHL Network right after this.
Well, there is Luke Hughes. He is on the ice, and he left late in the first period and knee-to-knee collision, but he is on the ice to start period number 2, so we will keep a close eye on him. Dave, if for some reason he cannot go as much in this period, what do they do on that bench? They have 7D. Who do they turn to?
I would say you take the lefty, Jack Peart, and you move him up because he's a little bit of an offensive-minded defenseman who can really skate. At St. Cloud State, used to that wide ice, and Brock Faber will cover him really well. I think that would be a good pair. So that's lefty-righty, and then you can move Ian Moore up to play with Clevin. Moore likes to get involved offensively as well, and Clevin is a perfect guy to spring an offensive defenseman. Remember, Clevin played for a couple of years at North Dakota with Jake Sanderson, who was up ice all night. So to me, Peart would go with Faber, and you move Moore up to play with Clevin, and your pairs stay pretty even. The dynamic stays even, but nobody matches what Luke Hughes brings.
Yeah, he is on the ice now, so that is good, and he's been talking with his teammates. He looks good, so hopefully he will be good, and we are underway in period number 2, the 4th and final of the quarterfinal games from Edmonton 2022 World Junior Championship. Earlier today, Canada, Sweden, Finland all punched their ticket. And now one ticket remains for the semifinal. Will be on Friday. We'll have it for you right here on the NHL Network. It's been a great day of hockey, and we've got a good one going here, tied at 1. Czechia on the attack. Shot just ripped over the crossbar and off the glass and out of the zone.
EJ, my feeling based on the last 5 minutes of period number 1, if the Czechs are going to steal this game, then the next 10 minutes are going to be vital. They got some jam. They got their game going a little bit. They established some size and the ability to use it. They got their zones a little cleaner.
And there's Trescott with a shot deflected into the netting.
And I really think as the team coming in as the underdog, you got to steal momentum when it's available to you. And right now, I think the Czechs have it a little bit as you see Luke Hughes, who has had a wonderful tournament for the U.S. You know, what's interesting, in Michigan last year, I was talking to Brandon Arado, who's now their head coach, and he said they moved Hughes around quite a bit on their power play. You know, he usually plays the top of the power play at Michigan, and they wanted to move in different areas. He said, when you get to New Jersey, Dougie Hamilton right now is playing the top of the power play. You'd better be able to bring something else. So they really did a nice job of getting us some different looks to prepare him for pro hockey.
Coronado shot deflected, kept in. Matt Coronado behind the net to Nyes. Nyes battling along the wall. Big Toronto Maple Leafs prospect to the point. Here's a shot through traffic, glove down by Suhanik, and we'll get a whistle.
Wyatt Kaiser getting another shot through, had a couple of goals the other day. Suhanik was able to see that one pretty well, and Nye is doing a nice job at getting himself to the front of the net. Good workmanlike shift for the U.S. Little low to high, shooting around the screen. Nice shot by Kaiser. Kaiser was set to do a couple of things here. Try to get this puck on goal, but with the check forward coming out the way that he did, taking away the shot lane, the near side miss would have been just as good, and Kaiser's smart enough not to put it off his shin guard.
James is going to win that draw. If the Czechs recover possession and flip it out to center. Team USA gaining possession, but turn it back over, and the puck will slide all the way down, and Barrico plays it up the wall. Americans look to come out. And a nice play there by Rashavi to keep it in, number 29, Martin Rashavi. Another of the many Czech players that plays in the Canadian junior hockey system, plays at Moose Jaw in the Western Hockey League. There hasn't been much flow in this game, Dave. It just seems like a lot of dump in, dump out, whistles, turnovers. I guess nerves of young people playing for something important.
That's kind of like drinking bland coffee, isn't it? I mean, it's just been one of those games where there's just not a lot to it, and your points will take it. I mean, nerves can be a part of it, but usually the nerve component is early. I will tell you this. I have done 14 years now of these semifinal games in the World Juniors and a ton of NCAA tournament games of that first game of the regionals, and a lot of those games tend to be just like this. Really quiet, really dull, really don't make the first mistake. And these are the games, as Bob Motzko has said many times, you can't imagine the amount of bile in your stomach as a coach when you're the favorite in these games.
And we're in a tight one here, early second period. And we saw Luke Hughes, he was on the bench kind of stretching. And he's back out there right now, so that's a good sign. Pass comes all the way back. Brock Faber, the captain for Team USA. Quick up to Bordeleau. Bordeleau tries to sneak his way through and almost does. Then he throws one at the net. Deflects to the corner. Kulish is there and he gets it ahead. Faber is back. Watched by Mishak. Turnover. Oh, a good play by Faber to come back and get a block of a potential scoring chance. Spacek chases all the way down. David Spacek, the son of Jaroslav Spacek, played over 800 games in the National Hockey League. Florida Panthers draft pick years ago. And we're being told now that Luke Hughes is headed to the bench once again, or headed to the locker room, so we'll have to continue that, or on the bench. So we'll continue to keep an eye on it, because he's trying to give it a go, Dave. He seems okay, but he doesn't seem 100%.
That last shift, he barely touched the puck. When have you seen Brock Faber do what he did in these 4 games? And again, I watched him a lot at the University of Minnesota. He doesn't do a lot of that either. But he came flying like a bat out of heck through the middle of the ice and turned a puck over. That's not his game. That's kind of what Hughes will do and do well. Hughes barely touched the puck on that last shift.
Puck comes up to the left point. Shot through traffic there, up in the air. Comes down in the corner.
By the way, if you're looking for a ray of hope here, Ryan Lindgren basically missed the gold medal game with the stomach flu in 2017. Depth on defense has always been a key staple of really good U.S. teams. They have a lot of depth here.
And they do dress 7. 20 skaters dress international play. There's Cooley with a shot, blocked away by Sohanek.
Now, when I was coach of the Central Hockey League, we used to dress 9 and 6.
Yeah.
I couldn't begin to imagine 13 and 7.
Yeah, a lot more work on the bench, and we get another whistle. You know, we talked about the choppy nature of this start, and we take another look at Luke Hughes standing on the bench.
Now here's a shift that Hughes had.
Yeah, you can see he's feeling it. He's feeling it, there's no doubt.
And then Faber tries to make that play, and he is just favored it a bit. And gingerly gets himself back on the bench.
So we'll continue to watch that.
Jason Hodges and Stan Wong will keep an eye on him.
So I was mentioning to you before, though, we've had a choppy start, a lot of whistles. Who does it favor? It seems to me that would favor the Czechs.
Oh, does it ever? If the Czechs could play this game in third gear, they'd be thrilled. The biggest threat that the U.S. proposes that brings is their speed. It is the best thing they possess. And if the Czechs can keep this game slow, then they can dictate the pace, and that means they can go stride for stride.
And we've had no penalties thus far in this game. So it has just been a choppy kind of battle back and forth, tied at 1. Ishak throws it to the netter. That's Menchik, 18.
Now keep in mind in the second period with the long change, goalies will be a little bit more cognizant of taking whistles when they can, just so they make sure that their defense core doesn't get caught on long shifts. Hughes is going to give it another go here and see what happens. The last shift with Kaiser and Truscott, they stay together, which I think will happen no matter what, depending on the availability of Hughes.
So Hughes back out there. He's had a couple of shifts to start this second period. As we mentioned, if you're just joining us, went like on a knee-on-knee collision late in the first period. It wasn't dramatic, but he was shaken up. And he's come out here and played a couple shifts in period number 2. But he does not have the same jump. And here's a chance. And oh, what a glove stop by Mbarico. And he holds on. A great opportunity by Kulish.
And EJ, I'm big on defensemen forward defending, but that's not a big Hughes thing. But watch here. Hughes doesn't even turn around to front the play. And I think part of it was because he didn't trust his ability to turn. Look at him.
Yeah.
Normally right there, he would have probably turned fronted and gone stick on stick with his man on the far side there, coming down on the left wing side of the ice. And look at the expression. That to me was the biggest indication that all's not kosher here, because of the fact that he didn't even turn to face the play. When you turn and face the play, if you've got to stop quickly, that puts a lot of pressure on your knees. He didn't have it.
Shot through traffic. And once again, Mbarico is able to glove it down. Like, at what point is at a coaching staff you look at this, you know, we just saw that play. He doesn't look anywhere near where he is normally. At what point do you have to say, hey, he can't go?
There's three things that happen. The player turns and says, I can't do this. The training staff turns to the coach and said he can't go. Or the coach just makes the decision saying, I'm not playing around with this. I'm going with my other 6. I'm not risking an injury causing a goal against here in a one and done. So which of those 3 components flinches first, we'll see.
And he's a young player with, you know, a highly talented prospect, and you don't want to fool around with injuries. And so we'll keep an eye on that as we continue. Team USA with a chance to the net. Great opportunity by Berard, but good save there by Sahanic. He was able to get the right pad out. Great scoring chance for Berard. Ian Moore now up the ice. Throws it off the backboard. Taken by Czech. Throws it up. Kept in by McCown. Throws it down low. James. Loses and out to center. And then the puck chipped up over the glass. So we'll get a stoppage. Suhanik with a terrific stop on Berard. We're still tied at 1. Fans, the best women's hockey players in the world are coming to Seattle on Sunday, November 20th, when Team USA and Team Canada battle in the rivalry series at Climate Pledge Arena. Tickets are on sale at Ticketmaster.com. Get your tickets now to see the greatest rivalry in hockey live in Seattle on November the 20th. And the Women's World Championships are coming up later this month. We'll have some of that for you right here on the NHL Network. The American women trying to take home gold right here at the World Junior Championships. Team USA in a battle right now with Team Czechia, and Luke Hughes back on the ice. So he continues to try to give it a go. Long pass ahead. Chipped into the zone. Back to Hotchek. Nice play there off the glass and out. And it's just, they are looking just to chip pucks out and slow this game down. And Czechia has been pretty successful at that thus far.
Now here's the thing. As a miracle hold this one. So Czechia's got a lot more offensive zone draws this period than they got in period number 1. Hughes with another simple shift. Not a lot of rushing. Good reception of pucks. Able to cross over and throw a pass, but no attacking the next layer out of Hughes. No explosion in his skating. Obviously, we keep monitoring as Steve Miller looks on and is discussing that with Brock Faber, who he'll be coaching this year. Congratulations to Killer, who went from Ohio State as the assistant coach, now on the staff of the University of Minnesota. He replaces Garrett Raboyne, who took over as the head coach of the new program at Augustana.
So this game has gotten more physical as it's gone along. And that's the way I think Czechia wants to play. Here's an opportunity off the pipe and in. A rocket from Hauser. Peter Hauser, a Devils draft pick. And he gives the Czechs a 2-1 lead.
What we say at the beginning of this period, the first 10 minutes of this period are going to make a big difference in whether or not the Czechs can win this game. And in the first 10 minutes of this period, they've been the better team on the ice. They've slowed the pace. They've controlled the puck. They've taken advantage of a couple of bounces. And here, they get a chance off the rush. They rush all game long. It's been simple and structured. Good quick up ice pass, split the D, and a nice shot off the far post. But splitting the D forces a little bit of space. When you split the D, you're either going to pull the near side D back with you, or you're going to pull the weak side D with you and open up for the trailer. Once all that action happened, Hauser realized that he had a lane to the net, and he ripped it off the far post.
So that's Hauser's first goal in the tournament, and you'll notice also on that play, Carter Mazur got spun around and he was dinged up, so we'll have to keep an eye on him as well. So Team USA falling behind for the first time in the tournament. They did not trail at all in the preliminary round of 4 games, and they find themselves behind Czechia 2-1. And here's Ivan with that pass. He goes to the net. Hauser has plenty of space there because, again, a great shot.
That's a goal in any league. I don't care. Jacques Plante was in goal, but that was going in.
Mazur being injured there opened the door. One fewer player. The Czechs took advantage.
Remember, when the U.S. was up 1-0 against the Swiss, and the Swiss scored to tie the game, Nate Lehman said, our team got angry. And for the rest of the period, we didn't allow a scoring chance. They'll need a little bit of that right now.
Here's a chance into the slot. Mishak's shot is blocked. Svozil behind the net. Kept in by Czechia. Knocked down on the play. No call. Team USA comes the other way. Samoskevich down the right side. That puck deflected up into the netting. We'll get a face-off.
Now, for the U.S., and the U.S. coaching staff has talked about this throughout the tournament, no matter what's happening in the game, stay true to your game. As you see Mazur get nailed on the wall. And what's the U.S. game been? It's been a grind. And they've been really good at grinding. Mazur, you mentioned, couldn't get back, became a little bit of a 5-on-4. But I think the U.S. is really confident in the way they play the game to the point where they know that they can continue to grind out some shifts and find an equalizer. But their quick strike capability is a huge advantage for them.
Here's another face-off win. Riley Durant couldn't get the shot off his stick. Savage along the wall. Now it's McCowan. McCowan spins back. Back up high. Used through traffic. Misses the net, and here comes Czechia the other way. Stutz, number 27. He loses. Used to McCowan. Chips it out to center. McCowan takes on more significance in this game as well, Dave, if Carter Mazur is out.
Right, because McCowan can also play wing. He's a centerman that can also play on the wing, and he can play on either side. Like, McCowan's a really versatile player. And all he's looking for, just knowing the kid over the last couple of years since he came out of the program and went to CC, all he is looking for are opportunities to prove the player that he is. And if a door opens for him, he becomes a big X factor.
Kaiser looking to chase this one down, chased by Kos. Menchik comes in, 18 in red. Now Nye starts the other way, but can't get past the defense, and it comes right back into the American zone. Resavi threw it in front, but it comes back into the neutral zone where Tahanchuk throws it in.
You know, in an interesting way, the Czech size is playing a factor here, because the U.S. is, last couple of times through the neutral zone, the U.S. has literally skated into them and turned pucks over into shin guards or sticks. Czechs are doing a nice job between the blue line. That's really good steering the U.S. into bad ice, and a dump in where the Czechs can now get out. This game between the blue lines in the second period has been all red.
You talked about the first 10 minutes being important for Czechia, and they've passed the test, I would say, so far.
Oh, they won it handily.
And the Americans offside at the blue line, so we will get a stoppage. Czechia with a 2-1 lead.
Carter Mazur back on the ice. That's a good sign. On his injury, actually got kneed a little bit by the official as the official tried to jump out of the way of the puck. Mazur's a pace player. He's a north player. He's a tenacious player. I think for the U.S., they have lost their way a little bit in imposing their will on the game with pucks down deep and battles below the tops of the circles. This period is the pucks belong to the Czechs, and they have really taken the United States' ability away from them in terms of trying to establish offensive zone play, and they've done it extremely well.
Here's Coolish. Drops it off. Puck goes behind. And Barrett going into the net. Shapovalov threw it at the net, and it eluded Mberico. And Czechia takes a 2-goal lead.
Clean breakout, lots of space, attack the next layer, structured breakout, nothing fancy. And Mberico just blew it on this one. He's been terrific in this tournament. This one he's going to want back. Did it deflect off something? Maybe it's slightly glanced off the U.S. defenseman. I don't think so. I think he just missed it. But sometimes when you just miss it, the trajectory of the puck changed on the way. But the Czechs did everything right coming up the ice. Good support of the puck, good clean breakout. They got a puck to the net when they had an opportunity to. This has been an absolute clinic by the Czechs this period in doing the little things right.
Well, you knew the Czechs were going to be, that Czechia would be a little ticked after losing to Latvia the other day, and maybe that's nothing to be ticked about. I mean, Latvia played very well in almost beating Sweden today, a 2-1 game.
Pesky Latvians.
They have been, and they were terrific in the game today. They gave the Swedes all they could handle. Maybe we've undervalued that game, but Czechia was ticked at the loss, and they have come out with they've played the game they've wanted to play, Dave.
No question. And I'll tell you what, they were under fire. They had their heels pinned back a little bit, or their ears pinned back and on their heels a little bit early on in the game. I thought for the U.S. it was a good first 10-12 minutes. They got a lot accomplished, and then slowly Czechia started to take the game back. They started to take territory back. They started to go inside out quite a bit. And to me, it's been nothing fancy. It's just been efficient.
And there's a shot by Coronado, goes wide. So adversity has come knocking here in the quarterfinals. The first 4 games, Team USA, they never trailed. There wasn't much adversity for them, but they found a bunch of it here. They've got a couple players dinged up, and now they're down 2 goals more than halfway through this game, and their goaltender has struggled a little bit.
Once again, good spacing here. Just a shot to the net, a little bit of traffic. And the Czechs do all the little things right. And Bergo gets caught with his wickets a little bit wide open, and look at the reaction of the Czechs.
And Luke Hughes going back there along with the captain to kind of get their goalie back on track.
I guarantee you what Faber said to him was, we got half the game left. Shut it down now. We'll take care of business. That's what leaders do. And I bet you that's what he said to Bergo. Look at the clock. We got half the game left. We're good. Just shut it down.
There is plenty of time. Kaiser tries to avoid the forechecking of Raysavi. Dave, the fact that a lot of the Czechs do play in North America, how does that play in it when they face off against Canada or the U.S.?
They're just used to the North American style of game, so I don't think there's any adjustment period for them. I don't think there's any intimidation for them. This team is built to play because of the fact that a lot of these players playing in the major junior ranks and a couple that go to the college ranks, they're just used to this style of play, and the players are playing against it.
Coronado tried to move it across to Moore. The Czechs just all over pucks right now, not giving the Americans much of a chance to get moving.
And remember, these birth year groups play against each other from about 15, 16U on. So it's the players know each other.
Get an icing here. Americans will come down with an offensive zone draw. You could say Faber is out. Luke Hughes was headed over the boards as well.
Radim Rulik, the head coach of Czechia, was the assistant coach in this program of the Czech Republic when they won gold at the 2000 World Junior Championships. That was back-to-back for the Czech Republic back then, 99 and 2000.
Bordalo. Puck comes back to Faber. He goes across to Hughes, just over his stick, tries to keep it in. Puck jumps up in the air, and Spacek gets it out, and here come the Czechs again. Shot by Brashavi over the net. There's Mishak. Puck comes in front. Mishak couldn't get to that one. Hughes is on it. Just very limited mobility, it seems like, from Luke Hughes.
Listen, you can't be losing 3-1 to be playing 4 against 5. If Hughes is a wounded duck, he can't be efficient. It can't be 100% for you. You gotta make a switch.
Yeah.
And at some point, you gotta go down to 6 and go with it. But he can't play limited effectiveness, especially with the offensive game he has, down 2 goals.
Bordalo to the middle. Moore tried to get there. And again, the Czechs come the other way. A chance there by Gut over the net. Puck back in the neutral zone. Big attempted hit there.
U.S. needs one of those. I'll tell you, they need something to get, even if they take a penalty doing it, they need something to get them excited. They need something to emotionally engage them in this game.
Yeah, that was Tyler Clement taking a big run there at David Juracek.
And if he got him, he'd have killed him, because Clement hits harder than anybody out there.
Kaiser flipping it ahead. Knocked down by Juracek and out of the zone. So what do the Americans have to do to get this turned around in this last 5 minutes? Maybe get this to a one-goal game.
Everything to the net. Get scrambles, get pucks to the front of the net, get rebounds. But bottom line is they got to come up the ice like they just did with some support.
So a little battle in front of the net. Riley Duran. It's Team USA down 2. There's a look at Stephen Hiff, referee from Canada. And you know, in youth hockey and all of youth sports, we are losing officials at an alarming rate, and the treatment of officials is a big reason why. So let's all join together, stop the hollering, the cursing at officials, so our sport can attract the officials needed to create the great environment we all desire for our game, because we can't play without the officials. And here's a chance all the way down. Shoots chasing down, and Barrico out to play it. Barking instructions to his teammates. Faber gets it ahead. It seems that Czechia has really gained confidence throughout this period, Dave. You could see them much more aggressive now.
Oh, absolutely. They've done a couple of things. Number one is they have limited time and space for the U.S. Number two is when they put pucks in, they put it into good spaces. Number three, they've attacked a lot from the outside lanes to keep pucks in safe areas and prevent transition. And they're winning a ton of races and a ton of battles. Physically, they're the better team on the ice right now. Their size is making an impact.
There's Coronado, flips it ahead, Nye's in on it. Puck goes around the wall. Cooley gets pinned into the glass there.
But look at the layers. Look at the Czech layers. Everywhere you go, if you get to the first layer of red, there's another layer right on top of you. They're above pucks. They're in good defensive posture and good sticks.
Team USA trying to get pucks to the net. That one goes all the way to the point and through and all the way down. So they will have to regroup. It's Berard. Brett Berard, New York Ranger prospect, loses the puck and will get an offside, and that's been the kind of play we've seen tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to hypothesize something here to you. I can't tell you because, you know, I'm not there. You see Hughes on a last play there, and a couple of looks at his stride, and you can see that he is certainly lumbering a little bit.
He's laboring, there's no doubt.
But here's the thing, this is the fourth game of the day, right? It's hot out in Edmonton. How good can the ice be in the fourth game? Bad ice favors the less skilled team. The less skilled team on the ice are the Czechs. When you try to play a high skill game on bad ice, that icing or that offside you just saw, that happens. And that's a factor. It's hard sometimes to simplify your game when you're that skilled. But that's going to be the challenge for the U.S. right now.
You know, we asked Nate Lehman today about this scenario, and he said, you know, the guys just, if things aren't going well, you just have to trust your teammates, trust who you are, and get back to your game. So that's going to be the challenge in these next 23-plus minutes. And really, it's been a struggle right now.
Yeah, and then to me, they're not out of the game by no means. I mean, they can score
by no means, because you see a lot of swings of emotion. They get the next goal, they could be on the attack for 20 minutes.
Exactly. So they've got to do a couple of things. Number one is, what are you going to create that's going to get the Czechs to start to panic? Right now, the Czechs feel great. But if that gets the 3-2 on a real good U.S. skill kind of play, all of a sudden the Czechs are looking like, oh, okay, the Bears awake again, right? So that's part one. But a lot of that's going to happen with simplicity. And I think as the U.S. has tried to do some things in the second period, they've complicated their game a little bit, and the bottom line is going to be everything to the net where you can create some excitement in front, get the heart rate up, and try to make plays in the grease pen area where they have gotten the majority of their goals.
And what did Nate Lehman say today? Keep your feet moving.
Yep.
That's who this team is, and they look like they've been stuck a little bit in the mud. Normally you would say you might, get a hit, get physical, but it seems like that might be playing into Czechia's hands. Who knows? Because Czechia has enjoyed the physical game so far.
What you think about this as a player, think about this as a fan. What are the 2 or 3 things that happen in the course of a hockey game that get your blood flowing. You score, blood gets flowing, right? Guy blocks a shot, blood gets flowing. What's the third thing?
Big hit.
That's it.
Yep.
But you got to make sure you take it at the right time. You can't go running around. But it's one of those things that emotionally engages you in the game more so than anything else. And it's got to become a part of what they're doing.
Team USA with 20 shots in the game. The 1 goal, not many really grade A opportunities, and this is a team that was averaging 46.5 shots per game in this tournament. The shot by Gut goes all the way through. Svacek kicks it back down low. Stutz spins back. You can see Gut was going to the net looking for a pass. 26 in red, didn't come. Stutz in the battle, doing a nice job there with Peart. Oh, that's Savage. Here come the Czechs again. Another opportunity. Kos with a shot deflected up over the net.
If you're the Czechs right now, don't waste opportunities. Everything, make goalies make saves.
McCowan tried to go inside. Puck just deflected off, and Czechs come the other way, and now we get a whistle.
See, after the whistle now, U.S. is getting they're getting a little testy. Whistle happens, they're stepping into somebody. Tyler Clevin is as good a physical player as there is in the country. He has thrown some hits at the NCAA level where referees have said, we wanted to give him a penalty, but the hit was so clean you can't. You know, like, I mean, he's that good at it.
And there's another look. Clevin getting involved physically. Reshavi, number 29, takes one up high. It's Kulich there. We had to look at for a second. 25. Come the Americans on the attack. Nice play by Cooley to the middle, but he can't get a shot. The Czechia really coming back to the net hard now.
Oh, they are tracking back. We talked about how well the U.S. tracks back. The Czechs have been as good, if not better, in that part of the game.
Shot towards the net. Glove down by Mbarico.
And Clevin's starting to demand a piece of skin here. That's the second time after a whistle where he has gone after somebody, trying to set a little bit of a tone. The theme of the period has been not a lot of excitement, but for the Czechs, efficient. And the key thing for them, they've done nothing to beat themselves. And when you are the underdog in a game, you are not afforded the luxury of making a mistake. The goal that got scored against them was a weird bounce off the boards that the U.S. pounced on. The Czechs have not made a mistake that they've had to atone for. The U.S. right now has.
Czechs controlling in the zone again. Orban behind the net. Stutz spinning away from Trescott. Using his size effectively there. Back down the wall. Kaiser trying to spin away from Orban. Orban gives him a ride. Now the puck comes loose in the slot. A little bit of a scramble there. Slager came back but lost his balance. And now here comes Bordeleau the other way. Gets it ahead to Samoskevich. Samoskevich one-on-one. Puck gets knocked off his stick. He recovers. Samoskevich trying to fight off Tahashik.
There's the size of the Czech defense in action.
Orban shot deflected. Kos over there for the Czechs, and now Brock Faber. Less than 30 seconds left in period number 2. Faber chips it in. Goes to the net. But Sohanik does what he's done a lot tonight, just hold on to pucks and stop the play.
U.S. with 21 seconds to go, offensive zone draw. You wonder if they bring Bordeleau out because of how good he's been on faceoffs. Czechs defending well. Another good stick play as Samoskevich goes through, and there's the size and strength of the young defenseman.
Yeah,
Tahacek and rides Samoskevich off the puck. So I wonder if the U.S. puts on a little something offensively here. Look how tight they're getting here, trying to put a little face-off play on here. Do they tap forward or go back?
And this time they lose the draw. It comes all the way the other way. Mishak chasing, but we'll get another whistle and another icing and another face-off.
Remember on an icing, an international play, and then just about every other league, the team that's taking the offensive zone draw can pick what side they want to take the face-off on. So let's see where the Czechs decide to go with this, depending on how they feel with the centerman on the ice for the U.S. Sorry, let me reverse that. What side the U.S. wants to take it on?
Yeah. Here's a chance, but doesn't get to the net again. Czechs clear it out. Under 10 seconds left. Faber back. Looks like he's going to just try to eat it back there. Takes a couple of hits. Sapovalov getting physical. Mishak in the mix. So the two teams will separate, hopefully, at the end of the period. After 2, Czechia 3, USA 1. Stay tuned. Intermission report with Pito and Rub next.
Back in the studio after 2 periods of play, Team USA facing elimination, trailing Team Czechia 3-1. Wow. Bill Pito and Mike Rupp. This is the first time the entire tournament the Team USA has trailed, and adversity is the operative word here. Only 4 shots, Mike, in the second period for Team USA. Only 4 shots. 16 shots in the first period, only 4 in the second period. What's going on?
I want to be very clear. This is not just Team USA not coming out and performing in the second period. I think it's more Team Czechia coming out and absolutely getting their wheels going, using their size, and they're just playing a smart period. And they're staying out of the box, which is huge as well, not giving Team USA any opportunity to garner more offense. But, man, this was a night and day difference between period 1 and 2. And this sets up for a nice third period. And I will say this, you've had some good saves, big saves by the Czech goalie in Suhanek. He's going to get tested here in the third, and these are where the great stories come. He's an undrafted goaltender. He plays out in the WHL. He's going to get tested here, so keep an eye on him. But this Czech team they've been fantastic in that period, and they had some pace setters to that period. You had that Kulik. I really liked his period. Mishak. These guys were just the tenacity, hounding pucks. They gave Team USA zero space on that ice, and it served them very well.
The United States has medaled in 5 of the last 6 years. They're the defending champs of this tournament, down 3-1. Here's some of the highlights from period number 2. You mentioned the goaltending play of Team Czechia. Here's Mberico here for Team USA. Had a little rough sequence on goal number 3, but here he made a nice save.
Yeah, you saw him right here tracking it well. You see him just keeping his eye on his glove, following it through. But, I mean, that was a perfect example right there of just, look at the Czechia, they're just fighting through Czechs, using their speed, using their size, and this happens. So when we start getting a little concerned here for Luke Hughes, though, it's a very unorthodox play for him coming back. He was laboring. We'll get into that a little bit more later.
You mentioned Sohanek, the goalie for Czechia. Nice sequence for him here.
Well, you're going to see at the other end here first, this is the goal. And
my bad.
No, it's all good.
Peter Hauser, Devils' 5th-round pick.
Rings it right off the post, but there's a play here. Just you got to capitalize on these opportunities. And this one, the puck kind of gets chipped to the middle of the ice, and then it's just good counter here by the Czechs coming in here, and that's a goal. Like, that is a goal when you can place it like this, and Hauser puts it right inside that elbow up top. That's a huge goal and a momentum swing here for Czechia.
All right, so that's 2-1, and it's 2-1 here when Matthias Shapovalov here makes it 3-1.
Yeah, that one's a leaky one, though. Mberico's got to be able to squeeze that. That one sneaks by. You saw after this goal, I think it was Brock Faber came up and talking to Mberico, just telling him, probably, hey, we got this, we'll get this, but you got to squeeze that puck right there. This one had eyes, but sometimes, and we said it after the first period, you earn your bounces sometimes, and the way that this team has been playing in the second period, maybe they earned this one, as this makes it a 3-1 lead for Czechia.
3-1 lead there. It's 3-1 after 2. We showed everyone Luke Hughes, some type of lower body injury in the first period. He clearly has been laboring since. What have you seen from him specifically as he's gone forward since he suffered the injury?
Yeah, he's struggling with his stride. You can see it. You can see him grimacing on his face. Every time he comes off the ice, it seems like he's getting some maintenance, or just you see the trainer talking with him. it's just he has that explosive ability that we just really haven't seen. So, and there's times where you see him skating and his stride shortened. So I would have said after the first period when we saw that he left that if it's something that he can't seem to be going with, that maybe just sit him. But at this rate, it's 3-1. I mean, there's nothing to sit him for, right?
You got to figure he can't make it worse, or else they wouldn't allow him.
Right. And then, but you also got to understand, you got to try to make that decision on the fly. Can he hurt our team right now? You know what I mean? There's been a couple plays that just don't look very much like him, like this one. Like he normally would open up, pivot, open up and play it differently. It's almost like you're just kind of giving them access to the zone or to space, and that's not his game.
He was a 4th overall pick, number 4 overall, picked by the Devils in the 2021 draft, and in the tournament coming into this game, 1 goal and 5 assists. He's been electric.
Yeah, it's a big piece.
Clearly not 100%. All right, so Team USA got a lot of work to do. Down 3-1 after 2 periods of play. Winner of this game will take on Sweden in the semis. We'll continue from our studio after this. We continue in the studio after 2 periods of play. A spot in the semifinals of the World Junior Championship on the line, and Team Czechia scores both goals in the second period, leads the United States 3-1 after 2 periods of play. John Rosen now after the period with Team USA's Landon Slaggert.
Landon, Team USA facing adversity. What do you and your teammates have to do to be able to get your identity and soul back in this game?
Yeah, I think you said it, identity. We need to get back to that and play our game. I don't like where our effort's at right now. I think we need to elevate. They're a proud team. They're playing their game. We got to find a way to elevate.
And looking systematically as well, trying to get that speed that you guys have shown so well through the neutral zone. What is Czech doing well so far in this game, and what are you guys looking to do to counter?
Yeah, they're definitely frustrating us in the neutral zone. We got to find a way to solve that and get some more pucks on net. So it's going to be a big third for us. We got to find some stuff in that locker room and really go to work.
Also, the life on the bench. What are guys saying? How are you guys trying to pick each other up?
Yeah, you know, it starts with a block shot or a hit. I think we need to get a few more of those and get the energy going up on the bench.
Good luck. We'll see you in a little bit.
Appreciate it.
Slaggert taken in the 3rd round by the Blackhawks in the 2020 draft. 5 points, as John Rosen mentioned, coming into this game. What does Team USA, Mike, have to do in the neutral zone? They're having a really hard time getting through.
We just heard him say right there that the neutral zone has been an area that the Team Czechia has really kind of tightened up, and they've made it where Team USA is not coming through there very cleanly, not with speed. So I feel like you got to start flooding the ice a little bit more, getting closer support. A lot of these plays so far that we saw in that second period were Team USA players kind of out on an island, and with the size and some of the size that they have for Team Czech, they were able to shut these plays down. You got to go and support. It's not one-on-one all over the ice. You got to support a little bit more. So that's something. But hey, here's the thing: they haven't tested and they haven't gotten enough rubber on net for Team USA. Good quality shots. I mean, you're going to have to find a way to get there. I mean, you could argue without that bounce on that fluky goal, I mean, Suhanik, he has a shutout. You know what I mean? And so you got to find a way to make tough, life tough on him. So
dump and chase. Would that help?
I think right now you activate your D, you get them involved. I mean, we don't know how much Luke Hughes is going to be able to get involved, but all your D-men, you got to get them involved a little bit more because you're just simply not generating enough right now for Team USA.
Now, again, Team USA has been dominant in this tournament so far, averaging 46.5 shots per game. They only had 4 shots in that second period. Is it just they just can't, get through the zone to get an opportunity? It's not surprising that they're down. I think that the way that they're down is somewhat surprising.
The first period, Team USA advanced zones very cleanly. Got out of their zone clean. They got into Czechia's zone cleanly. That was flipped on its head in period 2. Period 2, it was the roles reversed. Czechs were doing that to Team USA. And so now it's about, what were the things that we did early on in this game? I mean, you got to get a higher level of energy. There just simply wasn't there for Team USA in period 2.
All right. Czechia outshot Team USA in the second period 8-4, scored both of the period's goals. United States down 3-1 and facing elimination. We'll have the third period for you with E.J. Raddick and Dave Starman, and Mike and I will see you after the game right here as we continue on NHL Network. Stay with us, everybody.
Welcome back to Edmonton. We're getting ready for period number 3. Team USA, Team Czechia. The Czechs with a 3-1 lead. There's Luke Hughes, and he's hanging in there, trying to play through injury. Dinged up his knee, it looked like, late in the first period. Has been trying to play through it, Dave, but he does not look anywhere near the player that we know and who was drafted 4th overall by the New Jersey Devils a couple of years back.
I always trust the coaching staff to have the best pulse of their team and the players on the bench, and always defer to them. I'm not one of those guys that thinks they know more than the coaches do. But at some point, if it becomes apparent that he cannot give them what they need to get 2 goals back and get this game tied up because of his limitations, they are going to have to end his night and trust the other 6.
You can see during this tournament he has been a force on that blue line for Team USA, and certainly must be frustrating for him and trying to play through this injury. So we'll keep a close eye on him in the 3rd period. But let's face it, Dave, they're down 2 goals here. They need to get on the attack, and if Hughes is not going to be able to be effective, you really start to wonder if you might have to go in another direction. He made a nice pass there on the breakout. Shot gets blockered into the netting. Saw Carter Mazur briefly there. He got dinged up. He's back out there.
First 5 minutes of this period, I think, for the U.S. is going to be huge. Can they establish their game? Can they get their adrenaline going? Can they get to the front of the net? Can they get inside the Czech defense? Can they get some quality looks at the net? Can they make Suchanov's life miserable and take his eyes away? I really think they need to come out like a house on fire, because if they don't, what are they feeding off of, and what belief are they selling to each other for the rest of the period? So if they start to get some kicks at the can here and find some belief and get close, now you got something to carry you through. If they don't, like I said, what are you selling yourself on the bench that makes you think you're coming back?
Puck skips back out of the neutral zone. David Spacek fires it in for Czechia. Kept in at the left point. Shot through traffic. Loose on the ice. No one knew where it was except for Coronado when he comes the other way. Matt Coronado to center and chips in. Cooley on the puck. He gets taken to the boards hard. He's getting up slowly. Reshavi comes the other way for Czechia. Makes a pass across to the middle. Shot by Slovil. Blocker down.
Another example of Czech forecheck being above the puck. 1-on-3. They get a wall battle, and they come out with it.
There's Kaiser back behind the net. So not the start in the first minute plus here that the Americans need.
Volume shooting is going to be a key component here. Like, plays like that are fine. If you can get some offensive zone draws out of some of those airmails, great. If you can come out of your own zone and airmail one so the opposing defense has to look for a puck in the ceiling while you attack the bounce, great. But you've got to get some volume shooting to the net.
Czechs go back and play it. It's Alice Czech. Americans holding on now. They go back to the point. Clevin through traffic, knocked aside by Suchanek. Another shot towards the net, knocked down in front by the Czechs. They're really packing it into the house, but I would say that's what the Americans have to do, is get pucks into that area and then try to win battles down there and get some bounces.
No question. This reminds me of the national championship game a little bit.
As Berard tries to skip through, can't do it.
In that game, a bigger, heavier Minnesota State team had Denver on the ropes, as we get a whistle here. And in the 3rd period, Denver came out flying and took the game over. So you wonder if that component is here. For the U.S., it's get one first, as we've got a penalty coming up.
You can see a penalty here. Berard headed to the box. The officials are talking with one another, so you wonder, see if we can take a look at what happened here. Oh, that looked like a slew foot.
Let's see, yeah.
Team USA, number 21, major penalty under review.
Wow. It did slew him. Yep. The worst penalty you could take at the worst possible time. No need for this whatsoever. We talked about you need to do something to get you emotionally engaged. And if your worst comes to worst, you take a penalty doing it. But that's not the penalty you take. The penalty, if your worst comes to worst, you take it, is you finish a hard hit on the end boards, which sends the glass rattling. That's one thing. That is not the penalty to take.
And they are reviewing it now, as we talked about earlier in that first game we did of the tournament, Dave, against Germany. The rules are simple, that you call a 5-minute major penalty, then you can go review it, and if you feel that the penalty is unwarranted as a major, you can knock it down to a minor. You can't review a minor. But to me, I'd have a hard time thinking that this is going to get knocked down. I mean, that's a pretty classic slew foot, engaging the upper body while using the feet to kind of kick the skates out. To David Juracek.
That's dangerous. If he falls down backwards, that gets a little bit more dangerous than how it came down, but that is just not the penalty to take. The entire Czech bench starting to scream, and I like the composure of the assistant coach there, just trying to tell everybody to stay calm.
So the referees have looked it over, and they're going to come out and give us the final word.
Team USA, number 21, match penalty, slow footing.
So there it is. And Brett Berard is done for the evening, and Team USA will have to kill off a 5-minute Czechia power play. And, that's a penalty that's born out of frustration. It's as simple as that. It's just you get frustrated during the game and puts his team in a bad spot. Sasha Pasajov will go to the box to serve it. Berard will go down the tunnel.
Pasajov hasn't played much tonight. Berard is now finished, so if the U.S. survives this, they're going to obviously have to cut the bench down quite a bit. Terrible, terrible penalty to take, and for the Czechs, the buffet is open. It's all you can eat in the next 5 minutes. Two very different power plays that they have, and they predicated off shots from the flank.
Well, they win the draw, and they get to it. Shot attempt by Juracek blocked down.
For the Czechs, it's almost as important not to do something wrong here as to try to do something right. You don't have a clean shot from the point, don't put it off shin guards. Don't force things. Don't give the U.S. a chance to spring out shorthanded and create something. For them, go for the throat here, but don't do anything high risk where you can turn the game back over.
Czechs are 2 for 10 in the tournament, 20% on the power play. Team USA, penalty killing wise, 81.8%. That's tied for second in the tournament.
They've allowed 5 shots in just under 19 minutes of shorthanded time. It's amazing.
Puck across. Try to throw it down in the box. It comes away, and here comes Brock Faber the other way. He'll chip it down, and the Team USA will go for a change. Games turn on strange things, Dave. I mean, right now the Czechs have it all going their way. It's a terrible penalty to take by Team USA. But maybe a good penalty kill here could bring some life for Team USA, and maybe they even get a scoring chance. Heck, they haven't had a ton 5-on-5.
They're at the point now where they got to swing it, and they just drew a penalty. So this will go to 4-on-4 for the next couple of minutes, and then the Czechs will go back on their power play. So as the U.S. takes an awful
number
penalty.
14, minor penalty, hooking.
This is an offensive zone penalty on a 5-minute power play with a 2-goal lead. It's wrong time, wrong place for a bad penalty, as the Czechs really had a chance to put this thing away. And now you go to 4-on-4. 4-on-4 to me, clearly, and I mean clearly, favors the U.S.
And
there you see the penalty, stick parallel to the ice.
Svozil that took the penalty. Stanislav Svozil.
So this door now wide open. U.S. has more skill, more speed, and now more ice.
Well, here is Matt Nyes chipping it in and trying to go in after it. Nyes hasn't been near the force tonight that he was against Sweden. And they could use that tonight against a bigger team like Czechia. Spot check, takes a hit from Cooley. Czech pulls away with it, number 6. Spinning back behind his net. Americans trying to regain possession, create on the forecheck. Czechia fires it all the way down, and we'll get a whistle and an icing.
So in this 4-on-4 scenario, offensive zone face-off coming up for the U.S. Obviously, we'll see what side they pick to take it on. But EJ, like I just said a moment ago, the speed skill teams with the extra ice gives them a little bit of an advantage. Where the U.S. has been running into a brick wall a bit is with how well the Czechs have played inside the dots, and they're not straying out of it. So in a 4-on-4, you might think to yourself defensively, you play man-on-man, but the Czechs have really tightened up in a zone style here to protect the inside.
Bordelow's shot blocked down, goes back to Faber. 4-on-4 play for the next minute. Berard got a 5-minute major for slew footing, so he's done for the night. But then the Czechs took a minor penalty. And so we have 45 seconds left with the 4-on-4 play. As Davis pointed out, this might be an opportunity here with some extra ice. Faber spins back, leaves it for Bordelow. Back to Peart. Mazer. Looking, fires. Stopped by Sahanek. Loose in front, taken by the Czechs, and they come the other way.
By the way, 4-on-4 situation, no Luke Hughes here.
Bordelow.
Oh, there he is now.
There is Luke Hughes in front. The puck fired all the way down again. And we'll get another icing. So they'll have that 4-on-4 for another 7 seconds. A chance maybe to make a play off a face-off, and then the Czech player will be out of the box, and we'll be back to a Czechia power play. Here's Mazer down with a shot. Hits Sahanek up high there, and he's able to keep it out.
Great use of deception. Right, twice he attacked, slowed the pace, sold the move.
There's Coronado with a shot, doesn't get through. And the penalty now expires, so we're back to the final 140 of the power play opportunity for Czechia. Under 14 minutes remaining here in the third period. An elimination quarterfinal meeting here, Czechia and Team USA. And the Americans need to find a goal to get this to a one-goal game. Coronado sends it back. Truscott ahead. James gives it to Coronado, moves to the middle. Loses it in a sea of red. And Czechia comes the other way. Thrown Emberico, he leaves it for Faber. It's taken into the boards. That was cause for Czechia, and the puck cleared all the way down. Here is Tahacek behind the net. He leaves it for Spacek. I'm getting old when Jaroslav Spacek has a young man playing in this tournament, because I remember him watching him quite a bit in the NHL.
Well, a lot of kids recently.
Yeah, right. And now we got a whistle. Puck off the mooring, and see the referee signaling for a face-off outside the zone. With that, we'll take a break. So here you see the Team USA bench.
Remember what Nate Lehman told us all through this tournament? It's a quiet team.
Yeah.
It's dialed in and it's businesslike, but it's a quiet team, and sometimes when you get a quiet team as a coach, that can concern you. Reiterated that this morning. The other thing is that sometimes on those long days when you just have to sit around and think about the game all day, I mean, that could just mentally wear you out before you even start. But the U.S. was good for, I thought, 10 minutes, and then I thought the Czechs have taken the game over and never looked back. And they responded incredibly well to a fluky goal that put them down 1-0. And for the most part, they made the U.S. chase this game.
Full marks, you're absolutely right. That's something that could have taken them out of it early. You're an underdog team, you give up kind of a fluky goal. Credit to their coaching staff and their players to stay with it. Here's Juracek, the big right shot defenseman. He's got a chance to be a real good one in the National Hockey League. Columbus Blue Jackets draft pick. Czechia has 3 Blue Jackets picks on their roster.
By the way, speaking of the Columbus Blue Jackets, congratulations to my old buddy Trevor Timmons, who was hired by Columbus in a scouting role. Trevor spent close to 20 years with the Montreal Canadiens, running the amateur draft, and has reemerged with the Blue Jackets, and that is a great hire.
Yep. Svozil is one of the other Blue Jacket selections, and Reshavi is the other. Those are the three Czechia players that could be suiting up for the Blue Jackets down the road. For right now, though, they're suiting up in red and white for Team Czechia, and they're doing a great job here as they've kind of drained the life out of Team USA in this game. We're under 12 minutes left in the third period, and Team USA needs to get something going quick here. Goals can happen fast, Dave. You've covered this tournament a long time. These are young kids. You have changes of emotion that can happen in a game. Things can happen in a snap. But right now, it just seems like just a slow slog for Team USA. They just have not been able to generate really anything with their feet. And Czechia has been a team stewing for 2 days after losing to Latvia, and Team USA has not had adversity, and they got it big time right now.
And it's amazing what the Czechs have done. And again, a lot of it is pulling back, layering, and defending between the dots. But they have really not allowed the U.S. to make a clean pass of 10 feet or less accurate for a good long chunk of this game. The other component is net back, circles down low. Czechs have been better in their own defensive zone, whereas the U.S. was better against the Swedes in this area of the game.
Little cross check there by Cooley. Nyes trying to come away with the puck. But you can see there's a lot of red jerseys there. Coase is able to win that battle and get it out into center ice. Bodies go flying. And now it looks like that might be Cooley down. I have to check, but he's grabbing his leg. The referee has the arm up, signaling a penalty, and it is indeed Logan Cooley. Svozil looks like he is the guilty party.
Stan Wong out to check on Cooley. We, by the way, referenced it earlier in the tournament. This for Stan is number 20 with Team USA on the training staff, and he has been a tremendous asset.
Well, here we go again. Now we're going to have this look. Is this going to be a play that's going to end up being a major? Cooley headed to the bench. Referees.
Team Czechia, play number 14. Major penalty under review.
So once again, the referees, I think, in this situation, would prefer to call the major because they can review it.
Correct.
And get the call correct. If they call a minor there, they have no option to review it. So,
let's see what happens here. Cooley's trying to weave his way in.
That leg comes out.
Play the puck knee on knee. You know what? That's grounds for a major.
Yep.
Svozil made no attempt to play the puck. And if you are not going to play the puck, then you got to go through your check, not that way. And I think the officials have every reason in the world to turn this one into a major. But EJ, you're right. Even at whether it be the NCAA, NHL level, no matter. If you call the major first, you give yourself some leeway to play with in terms of downgrading the call.
Team Czechia, number 14. 5 minutes and a game misconduct for kneeing.
So there it is. Svozil gets the 5-minute major in the game misconduct. He also got the other penalty in the game for Czechia, so he will go to his locker room. Earlier in the game, Brett Berard got a 5-minute major. He was also given a game misconduct. You can see it again there. We hope Logan Cooley is okay. But this is a great opportunity for Team USA. I mean, they've been good on the power play in this, in this tournament. 41.6%, fourth best in the tournament, and they're going to need it right now because they got a 5-minute. As you say, to borrow your phrase, it's a buffet.
That's it. All you can eat.
They win the draw and they get to it. Luke Hughes is out there. Fires it. Blocked down. Bordelot holds on. Gets it back to Hughes. Bordelot, the one-timer. Deflected and cleared out.
Now, this is the interesting part. If you pull Hughes out of the game early and you wind up with a power play situation, it's hard to put him back in because he's cold. So you wonder if the thought process was, let's at least keep Hughes involved, because if we get on the power play, we're going to need him.
Americans into the zone on the set. Down 2. Samoskevich with a shot off the pipe. That was a rocket. Mazur tries to get one at the net. Can't do it. Bordeleau holds it in. Down low, plays catch with Mazur. Up to Hughes. He takes a shot through. Pad save by Sahanic, and it's cleared all the way down. And Hughes is going to go to the bench.
But he was good. He was good on that power play. He was good up top. And like I said, the fact that his body's still warm and he hasn't been sitting there is a reason why the U.S. can use him. That's why I always defer to the coaching staff and their pulse of the team.
They get the puck in, close to offside there, but they gain the zone. Peart looks, one-timer, fanned on there by McCown. Team's battling the corner. It's been a heavy-duty game along the wall tonight. Clock ticking. Cooley back out there. So he's okay after that knee-on-knee play. Cooley up top, looking for a shot, blocked down. Gets it back. Throws it to McCown. McCown walking in. His shot off the glass wide.
Czechs do a great job at getting big. And what I mean by that is the longer the U.S. holds the puck, the longer or the better chance the Czechs have of closing up space, getting sideways, and getting wide. And they have blocked a bunch of shots because of it.
Under 3 minutes left in the 5-minute major. Hughes back on the ice. Up top. Now it's Bordeleau down low. He'll pick up again. Over to Hughes. Back to Bordeleau. They'll exchange positions. Bordeleau throws it through traffic. Loose and back home. It's Carter Mazur in front. And the Americans have life. Down 3-2.
Well, now the U.S. bench is alive. Now you got a little jam. Now you got a little belief because it's a one-shot game with 8.5 to go. Power play moved the puck around, took advantage of open space. Key here, once the puck came back up high, the lane was there to the net, got it through. Great screen in front. And for the first time in a long time, the United States forwards were inside of the Czechs in the hard area. The hard area for the U.S. has been their go-to. They have scored better than 75% of their goals in the grease pen area right there. And there is Carter Mazur doing what he does best. A throwback player in the modern era gets the United States a hard area goal.
Well, now we have an interesting finish ahead of us. Still 2:30 left on the power play for Team USA. So they hope to get back right into the zone and get set, and they do. Coronado spins back. Long pass across. Probably too far there for McCowan. He can't get to it. Here comes Czechia. Spot check. Throws it on goal. Stopped by Emberico. Peart. Jack Peart behind the net. Looks to start it up. 2 minutes left in the power play. Under 8 minutes left in regulation. Turnover there by Cooley. Here comes Czechia the other way. Rashavi with a shot. Fires it over the glass. Emberico plays it behind the net.
When the Swiss played the Swedes, they were down by 1 with about 6 minutes to go, and they had the game on their stick 3 times, and 2 of the 3 times they missed the net. For the Czechs, they had the game on their stick right there.
Bordeleau enters the zone, winds it around. Picked up there by Samoskevich, behind the net to Bordeleau. Back around to Mazur. To Bordeleau. Up top for Hughes. To Bordeleau. Into the middle. A shot by Mazur, stopped in front, and it's cleared. Hughes waving to the bench.
And the Czechs have been a little hesitant attacking triggers as this power play wanes, and you wonder if their PK energy is a little low.
Hughes will chase this one back. Under a minute left in the power play. Under 7 left in regulation. Bordeleau spins back. Here's Hughes looking. Back to Bordeleau. One-timer! And it deflects up into the netting. Bordeleau looks up. 39 left on the power play. We'll take a quick break. 3-2, Czechia. The broadcast of this game is authorized by USA Hockey. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of any image, sound, account, or description of this game without the express written consent of USA Hockey and the International Ice Hockey Federation is strictly prohibited. 39 seconds left on the power play. 6:35 on the clock here in the third period.
Biggest face-off of the game for the U.S. right here.
And Bordeleau is able to win it, going righty on that one. They get to their set. Flipped out to Hughes. Hughes through traffic, blocked down. Bordeleau back to Hughes. Bordeleau on the other side this time. Comes back up to Hughes, looking. Traded off. Now it's Cooley back to Hughes. 15 seconds on the power play. Hughes through traffic in front. Sahanek is able to knock it down. And the Czechs clear the puck out.
This was a good power play for the U.S. They got a goal, and they got momentum, and they got life. So even though they didn't get the 2 that they wanted on the full 5, now they got some energy, and now they got some belief.
Here's Bordeleau rushing through. Loses control, battle along the wall. Czechs come up with it. Fired in, blocker down by Emberico.
If you're the Czechs right now, you still got to play for the next goal. As well as they've defended, you go into a shell right now, you're inviting disaster.
Chipped in by the Americans. Sahanek out to play it. Leaves it for Czech. Up the wall. Taken away there by Savage. Savage trying to get through, can't get a shot off. Comes across. Spacek, long pass ahead, knocked down. Truscott the other way. Here comes Clement, big hit along the wall with Spacek. 2 big men. Puck comes loose and Czechia on the attack again. They just fire it in. Under 5 minutes now in regulation. A little bit of a messy exchange there, but the Americans come away with it. James gets it to Mazur. Over skates. Urban is there and he gets into the neutral zone. Hughes chips it in. 4:30 left, regulation. Sahanek up the wall. Stutz tries to get it out. It hits the official, but Czechia comes away with it and clears it in. Hughes. Reversal to Faber, the captain. Long pass ahead. Cooley now chasing down. Chipped back out by Spacek. Faber will go back and we get a hand pass. Sahanek trying to hold on for Czechia. The Americans looking for one. We'll be back with the finish. It's August and it won't be long before the hockey season begins in full. Parents, players, coaches, officials, now is the time to register with USA Hockey for the 22-23 season. Visit membership.usahockey.com to register today and make sure you're set for the season ahead. That's membership.usahockey.com. 4 minutes on the clock. Team USA wins the defensive zone draw, tries to come up. Coronado's there, throws it back in. They got to get onside, and they do. Czech throws it around the other way out of the zone. Hughes almost fell there, just losing his balance, playing through some sort of leg injury that he suffered in the first period. Gamely trying to fight through.
Pretty good ride out right there for a guy on a bad wheel. A great rub out.
Here's Nyes on the attack, chasing down Dahacek. Nyes along the wall, battling. Puck still in the feet and then out of the zone. Coronado loses, and it's chipped back behind the U.S. goal line.
Now you'll also see the Czechs, when they do move the puck in, they deposit it behind the U.S. defense. Their deposits have to be good. They're going to be in good spots, dying on the inboards.
Here's Samoskevich to the net. Puck bounces around. Kaiser throws a pinball into the net. It doesn't get through. Under 3 minutes left. Carter Mazur tries to jam it. Can't get it there. Now Mazur is down. We play on. Kept in by Team USA. Kaiser just couldn't keep that one out. And now the Czechs come the other way. They look to kill time in the offensive zone. Kaiser does a nice job retrieving the puck. 2:25 left now. Moore gets it and fires it in. Sohanek plays it. The puck is chipped into center. There's Riley Duran. He leaves it for Clevin and he'll fire it in. Dahachuk tries to make a play, comes to the side of the net. Team USA keeping it in. Clevin towards the net. Duran fires a shot just wide, under 2 minutes. Net is empty for Team USA. They've got an extra attacker. It's all on the line right here. Puck comes to the Czechs off the glass and out. It's going towards the net, but it won't hit it, and we're going to get an icing. 100 seconds left on the clock in the third period. Samaskevich made a heck of a play here, Dave.
Yeah, he did. Stuck through and a little play in the front of the net. That's what they've needed all period long. And Kaiser with a good idea, just throw it back towards the front. If I'm the Czechs right now, the one thing I want to make sure of is, as Carter gets hit right in the face, I want to make sure that the group that is on the ice right now has got wind. If they don't, you call timeout. On the American side, do you call your timeout now? It looks like they have.
The answer is yes.
And Grant Petolny is the coach at Stockton right now. He's the head coach at Northern Michigan. He's a guy that knows a lot about scoring big goals in big games, which he did for the University of Minnesota, and a couple of national title runs that they made when he was playing there. So if you're the U.S., you figure Bordelow's going to take the draw because he can win them on both sides. You got an offensive, you got an offside winger on the wall who could come across on a scramble, would be on his forehand. The question will be is, do you want to go for the quick hit off the draw, or do you want to get the puck back to the point and establish a high setup? Generally in these 6-on-5 situations, which the U.S. has not been in this tournament, it's generally your first power play unit and one other. We'll see who the extra is.
So Hughes is out there, Nyes is out there. You can see Spacek, the big, or excuse me, that's Juracek, the big defenseman. No surprise he'd be out there for Czechia, and you're right on it with Bordeleau in the middle. He'll take that draw against, looks like Jan Mysak, the captain. And it looks like he's turning his stick over too, and he does. So a little cat and mouse, and there's a blind pass there by Hughes, and a steal, and here comes Czechia with the winner. It's Coolidge.
Hey, if you're the Czechs, this is where you got to act like you've been there before. You still got a minute and a half to go in this game against the high-powered offensive team. Hughes trying to throw a pass across, and it was just another example of a lot of space between passer and potential receptor on the U.S., and the Czechs have done a lot to make that happen. See the reaction of the Czechs? But they've still got 90 seconds, and that young man has played a major role in why the U.S. only has 2 and not more.
Tomas Sohanek playing in the Western Hockey League. You can see Luke Hughes. It's been a frustrating evening for Luke Hughes. He's clearly not been at 100%, trying to play through an injury. So Kulak with the goal. Buffalo Sabres pick. Americans now in a tough spot. They need one and they need it quick. Czechs try to clear. Kept in by Mazur. Extra attacker on the ice again for Team USA. Bordeleau looking to get it through. Scramble around in tight. Coming up on a minute left on the clock. Coolidge shots one block. There's a pass. And oh, Coronado! How did he miss? Coronado looking at the empty cage and just could not finish it. He keeps this puck in with a good athletic effort. 40 seconds left. Mazur chasing down with a big hit. Coronado with it again, throws it in front. Bordeleau. Coronado behind the net. Coming up on 20 seconds left. They try to get the puck through. Coase is able to clear it out of the zone all the way down. And we will get a whistle for an icing. But Matt Coronado, I don't know how he missed that one, Dave.
Oh, this poor kid will see this play for the rest of his career. Wide open. Let's see. Is it go off a stick?
Ah, yes.
Yeah, it might have.
Spacek with the stick.
Let's see. Stick comes out. Yeah, he did. Hey, we always talk about defensemen trying to get stick on puck. And Spacek with a huge play. And unfortunately for young Matt Coronado, like I said, he will see that one for a long time.
Peart through traffic, knocked out. Seconds ticking off here. And it is a heartbreaking loss for Team USA, but Team Czechia, they are ecstatic. As they have shocked the world with this one. And they come away with a 4-2 win over Team USA and a berth in the semifinal.
Congratulations to the Czechs. They deserve this game. They were the better team on the ice tonight. They're not the better team skill and talent-wise, but they were the better team tonight. I give Luke Hughes a lot of credit for playing on a flat tire for most of the night. And the U.S., who were so good through 4 games, ran into a buzzsaw tonight. You and I talked a little bit earlier this week. The Czechs had a something to prove mentality, especially after the game against Latvia. And Nate Lehman has been saying it since day one. The Czechs are a team you better watch out for. They're better than people think.
And they were excellent in this game tonight. And you made a good point. The U.S. got on the board first on a really kind of odd goal off a bad bounce. And the Czechs did not let that bother them. They played their game, and now they'll advance.
Artist Jason Carter. The prizes will be presented by Scott Fellnermeyer, head coach of the Nate Oaks men's hockey team. The best player of Team USA est le numéro 34, number 34, Carter Mazur.
Carter Mazur there for sure after just such a disappointing loss tonight.
The best player of Team Czechia est le numéro 30, number 30, Tomáš Suchanek.
And Suchanek, who really wasn't expected to start tonight. Most people thought it would be Jan Bednář. He had struggled. Suchanek came in against the Latvians in the third period. He played great against Canada. And he got the start tonight, and he got the job done.
Look at the emotion on his face. That might be the biggest game he wins his whole career. This kid was terrific tonight.
And now for the 3 best players of the 2022 IIHF World Junior Championship for Team USA. The 3 best players are selected by their team and will each receive a Tissot watch. The 3 best players of Team USA. Number 9, le numéro 9, Thomas Bordelot.
This kid had a tournament for the
Number
ages.
34, le numéro 34, Carter Mazur. And number 43 est le numéro 43, Luke Hughes.
It's a lot of disappointment there, certainly for Luke Hughes, dealing with injury tonight. Tried to play through it. Thomas Bordelot finally got his chance to play in the World Junior, but it doesn't end the way he was hoping.
His job on the face-off circle, his leadership role, he's got a lot to be proud
Now
of.
please rise for the national anthem of Czechia. Maintenant, merci de vous lever afin d'écouter l'hymne national de la Tchéquie.
group. They punch their ticket to the semifinal. They will take on Canada. Sweden will meet Finland in the other. And as for Team USA, this tournament is over. When we come back, we'll recap it after this.